Hello everyone. So today we'll be taking up the daily quiz for the date 2nd April 2024. So based on today's Hindu newspaper, we'll be taking up the first question. So the first question is based on the article that was mentioned on PMLA. What's PMLA? Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. So based on this article, we'll be taking up the question. So consider the following statement regarding PMLA, that is your Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So PMLA empowers the CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, to investigate the money laundering case. Is it true? Does PMLA empower the CBI to investigate the money laundering cases? See, PMLA deals with managing the money laundering in India. So that is the PMLA Act 2002 deals with managing money laundering in India. So does it empower the CBI? So what do you think? No, it doesn't empower the CBI to investigate in the money laundering cases. Rather, your PMLA empowers the ED. So what is ED? Enforcement Directorate. So PMLA that is empowers the ED, Enforcement Directorate, to investigate into the matters regarding the money laundering, not your CBI. So statement 1 is wrong. Okay, fine. So second one, adjudicating authorities have the power to adjudicate cases regarding the confiscation of properties involved in money laundering. So what do you think? Adjudicating authorities, does it have the power to adjudicate cases regarding the related to the confiscation of properties involved in the money laundering? See, ED will identify if there is any money laundering cases involved in any of the transactions, and if there is any money laundering cases, who will decide? ED is one enforcement directorate, it's one agency. Who will decide what are the further actions that has to be taken? Who will decide? So that will be decided by adjudicating authority. As per the PMLA Act, so one adjudicating authority is set up. This adjudicating authority has the power to adjudicate the cases, that is the cases regarding your money laundering related to the confiscation of properties involved in money laundering. If ED has identified any money laundering case, next what has to be done? That will be determined by the adjudicating authority, whether to confiscate the property or not. So that will be determined by the adjudicating authority. So this statement 2 is right. PMLA establishes one adjudicating authority and it will decide what next has to be done. Okay, fine. So second statement is right. Third one, that is your FIU, that is Financial Intelligence Unit India, is a nodal agency responsible for receiving and disseminating the information related to the suspicious financial transactions in to control money laundering. Is it true? FIU, that is your Financial Intelligence Unit. So is it the nodal agency that is responsible for receiving and disseminating the information related to the suspicious financial transactions to control money laundering? Yes, in fact, this is absolutely right. FIU is one specialized agency or a nodal agency that deals with identifying the financial transaction that has a probability of involving in money laundering. So FIU is the nodal agency or the specialized agency. So this statement is right. So statement 2 and statement 3 are right. So the answer has to be B. And your FIU comes under Ministry of Finance, that is Financial Intelligence Unit India comes under Ministry of Finance. So the work of Financial FIU, that is Financial Intelligence Unit, is to identify any of the transaction that has probability of involving money laundering in it. So those transactions would be identified. So that is your Financial Intelligence Unit. Fine. So now we'll go to the next question. So the next question is regarding generative AI. So there was one article in today's newspaper that was usage of AI as a generative AI in election. So what are the pros, cons, etc. that is given in this article. So based on that, we'll be taking up the question. So consider the following statement regarding generative AI. Generative AI refers to the ability of AI system to create new content such as image, music, or text. So what do you think? So does generative AI has the ability to create new images, text, music, etc.? So what do you think? The name itself says generative AI. The name itself says that it can generate new content. Yes, this statement 1 is absolutely right. So generative AI means it is one AI system. It's a type of artificial intelligence that has the capacity to generate your images, content, music, so on and so forth. So statement 1 is absolutely right. Say for example, So this is a generative AI. So this is not an original image as such. So this is generative AI. So if you give a command, now it's a prelim season. So but however, if you give a command like say in Bing, that is your in Bing, if you see give a command, UPSC aspirant seriously solving UPSC prelims question. So this is the image that has been generated. This is not an original image. So this is your generative AI. So there are various generative AI models. Say for example your ChatGPT, your Gemini, etc. So those are your generative AI. So statement 1 is right. Statement 2. It involves algorithms that learn pattern from the existing data and can generate original content. So does generative AI learn from the existing data and generate new content? So what do you think? In fact, that's how your generative AI works. So how does generative AI works? It's a type of your AI system. Consider this is one artificial intelligence system for which we feed in lots of data. Lots of data is fed into this system. It's a software fed into the system or a software. This software or this artificial intelligence system, what it does is it uses this data, it uses all this data in order to generate new data. So that is your generative AI. So this is how your generative AI works. So statement 2 is absolutely right. That is, it involves one algorithm which says that we have to use this data that is available in order to generate new data. So that is your generative AI. So statement 2 is also right. So statement 3, that is creating realistic deepfake videos by generating facial expressions and the movements is possible in generative AI. What do you think? Is it possible? Can generative AI create realistic deepfake videos? Yes, that is one of the major drawback of generative AI, that is creating of deepfakes. So there are so many cases that is regarding the deepfake cases. Say for example, this is a the famous deepfake case regarding President Obama. So this was the issue. So again here, generative AI can indulge in creating deepfake videos. So this statement is also right, but however answer has to be D. So but creating deepfake is one of the drawbacks of this generative AI model. Fine. Okay, so now we'll go to the next article that was there in today's newspaper. So that was based on your Ladakh protest. So we know that there's a massive protest going on in Ladakh, and the main demand, one of the demand for Ladakh is to have sixth schedule. That is, Ladakh should be included under sixth schedule of Indian Constitution. So what is this sixth schedule? So based on this, we'll be taking up the question. So consider the following statement about the provisions of 6th schedule, that is schedule 6 of the Indian Constitution. Statement 1. Schedule 6 of Indian Constitution deals with the demarcation of boundaries between states in India. Does schedule 6 deals with the demarcation of boundaries of states, boundaries between the states in India? What do you think? No, schedule 6 has nothing to do with the demarcation of boundaries between the state. But then what does your schedule 6 do? So as per schedule 6, it says that so there are 4 states, that is your Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. In these 4 states are under schedule 6. So there are, in these 4 states, the majority tribal region, that the region having majority tribals will come under schedule 6, and these regions, these tribal regions would be governed by a different entity known as autonomous district councils. So that is the entire concept of your schedule 6. I'll again repeat it. So schedule 6 is for, as of now, it is for 4 states, that is your Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. So in these 4 states, there are few regions that are dominated by tribals. In those regions, as per schedule 6, it empowers, it establishes autonomous district council. This autonomous district council will govern those regions that has majority tribal areas in these 4 states. So that is your 6th schedule. Now Ladakh also wants it to be included in 6th schedule. So 6th schedule has nothing to do with the demarcation of the states, okay, boundaries between the states. Rather, it is a kind of protecting the tribals, tribal groups in India. So statement 1 is wrong. So what about statement 2? It empowers the creation of autonomous districts in a specific tribal areas. Yeah, as I told earlier, it empowers the creation of autonomous district council. So this autonomous district council are kind of a governing body that governs the important law and order issues in those tribal regions of the states, that is your Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. In these 4 states, the tribal region, the majority tribal regions would be governed by this ADCs, that is autonomous district council. So statement 2 is right. Statement 3, and it's a provision of Schedule 6 are applicable throughout India. What do you think? As I told earlier, is it applicable throughout India? No, it's not applicable throughout India. It's only applicable in the 4 states: Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. So these are the 4 states. So statement 3 is wrong. So the answer has to be B. B is the answer. Fine. Okay, so we'll be taking up the next question. So the next question is based on the editorial that was regarding the solar surge, that is how solar industries are developing in India, what are the issues involved in it, so on and so forth. So there was one prelims question in the in UPSC that was regarding the solar energy cooperation in India. So that was based on this article deals with this concept, solar energy cooperation of India. So which of the following statement is or are correct regarding the solar energy cooperation of India? That is your SECI, that is SECI, Solar Energy Corporation of India, is a government agency responsible for promoting solar power projects and facilitating their implementation in India. What do you think? Does SECI, that is Solar Energy Corporation of India, is a government agency responsible for promoting solar power projects and facilitating their implementation in India? That's the actual work of your Solar Energy Corporation of India. So Solar Energy Corporation of India is a PSU, that is public sector unit. The main aim of the Solar Energy Corporation of India is to promote the solar power projects in India and facilitate their implementation in India. That is the main agenda of this PSU, that is your Solar Energy Corporation of India. Statement 1 is right. Statement 2. So statement 2 is that SECI functions under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Does SECI function under MOE of CC? MOE of CC is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Definitely, using solar energy reduces the impact on the environment, that is controls climate change, etc. Does as a reason, does Solar Energy Corporation of India falls under MOE of CC? No, Solar Energy Corporation of India doesn't fall under MOE of CC. Rather, it falls under Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. It doesn't fall under MOE of CC. Solar Energy Corporation of India Limited falls under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. So, statement 2 is wrong. What about statement 3? SECI is responsible for determining the tariff rate of solar power in India. So this statement is actually taken from actual UPSC question statement. SECI is responsible for determining the tariff rate for the solar power in India. Is it true? Does SECI determine the tariff rate for solar power in India? No, it doesn't determine the solar power tariff, that is solar tariff rate in India. So then who determines the solar tariff rate in India? It is market driven. Say for example, if there are 2 companies, company A, company B, and say let us consider company C. So there are 3 companies, company A, B, C. So A, B and C. So if what would be the total cost of the solar power, it would be determine the market rate. Say for example, if this company is giving 8 rupees per unit, this company is ready to give say 7 rupees per unit, or say this company is ready to give 6 units per unit, then the price of the solar power would be 6 unit per unit, 6 rupees per unit. So it is market determined. No, that is Solar Energy Corporation of India doesn't determine the rate of the, or say cost of the solar power. So who will determine the cost of the solar power? It is market determined. Whichever company offers the cheapest price, that price would be established in the market. Okay? So that is your Solar Energy Corporation of India is not responsible for determining the tariff rate for the solar power in India. So statement 3 is wrong. So statement 3 is wrong. The answer has to be A. Okay, fine. Okay, so we'll be taking up the next question, PYQ, one of the easiest question, that is your Atal Innovation Mission is set up under Atal Innovation Mission. So it is set up under which entity? So is it Department of Science and Technology, Ministry of Labor and Employment, Niti Aayog, or Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship? What do you think? So Atal Innovation Mission comes directly under the Niti Aayog, comes directly under the Niti Aayog. So if you consider here, Atal Innovation Mission falls under Niti Aayog. So what is Atal Innovation Mission? So it's a scheme of Niti Aayog which promotes the startup. So it helps in the incubation of new startups. So that is the scheme, Atal Innovation Mission. It falls under Niti Aayog, not under any ministry as such. Okay. So now we'll be taking up the fact of the day. So the fact of the day is regarding soil salinization. So what is soil salinization? So if you see here this image, so the white salts that are present on the soil, so that feature or say that phenomena is called as soil salinization. So then what is soil salinization? Soil salinization means it is a phenomena that represents the accumulation of salt, that is the accumulation of salt over the soil in such a way that it lowers the soil productivity. Lowers the soil productivity in the sense, lowers the soil fertility and plant growth capacity. So that concept is called as soil salinization. I'll again repeat it. Soil salinization means it is a phenomena where the percentage of salt in the soil increases to a level where the soil productivity comes down, or the soil fertility comes down, or the soil's capacity to support the plant growth comes down. So that phenomena is called as soil salinization. Okay, fine. So but how does soil salinization occur? There are various ways of soil salinization, but one of the most important way of soil salinization is that in India is that agricultural practices. So agricultural practices, say in terms of usage of excessive water or say excessive chemical fertilizers, etc. So what would happen? The salt would start depositing over the soil. So layer of salts would start depositing over the soil. So as a reason, what happens over a period of time, in the sense not few months, few years, say 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, over a period of time, a thin layer of salt would get deposited over the soil due to the faulty agricultural practices like say excessive irrigation with application of excessive fertilizers and chemical fertilizers, pesticides, etc. So as a reason, what happens? A thin layer of salt gets deposited over the soil. So as a reason, what happens? The overall soil productivity comes down, and this soil salinization can easily be seen in the Green Revolution belt regions. So what are those Green Revolution belt regions? That is say your Punjab, your Haryana, your Western UP. So that belt is infamous for soil salinization. So we have to, so as a reason, we need to move towards the organic farming or say sustainable farming, so that we reduce the consumption or say usage of fertilizers, and we use the fertilizers in appropriate way so that the soil salinization can be reduced. Okay, so that was the end of the class. So then, chalo then. So thank you guys.